Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing Mid-December edition. I'm Darin with my good buddy,
Sean Cole.
And This Week Inside Sim Racing is sponsored by iRacing.com, where you can get 3 months for the price of 1 by clicking on the banner at our site. And as a matter of fact, that's the same software that you'll see us running later in the show at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So if you're interested or trying to figure out what we were running there. And that's going to be one of our stories. We're going to get to that later. But our first story was the Frex motion head system.
Motion head, that is a great
Is that what
wording.
It's called? Head motion? Or?
It is head motion is what it is. Very interesting post. You posted that while we were out of town. And this is one of those things that, I don't know, for me it was a bit scary. I'm just going to say it.
Well, my comment in the blog was, I think I'd be personally too worried about neck damage.
Yeah.
And then some of the other comments. First, the last comment was from Sinjay of Frex, who also posted this video, and actually I'll run it here while we're talking.
This is funny.
And it's a 2-seater ride in an F1 car. This guy's head and body, first of all, this guy was not strapped in tight enough.
No, I mean, and he's in a Formula One car being exposed to some major G's, which is the point of this head motion. I guess we kind of left that out of the story.
So that's what I was getting to. Sinjay posts this video, and I think he's comparing, I mean, it's called Yas Marina F1 Formula One Racing Experience and Bad Whiplash. So, and he posts that in his response to my thing. First of all, he thanks us for posting it. But then he talks about
some of the math behind it.
Yeah, the average weight of the human head.
Being 5 pounds, a helmet, 5 kilograms, another 1.5 kilograms for the helmet. And then you're exposing that to G-forces. So when you see in the video, and the guy's being thrown around.
Let's go back up a little bit. The Frex makes a motion system. They also make a wheel and shifters and all sorts of other stuff.
Incredible pedals.
Yeah, and now he's got this, and I don't know how long he's had this out. I think somebody mentioned it's been out for a little while, but this is the first I've seen of it in this video. And it's this head motion system that basically it's like the motion systems you've seen us talking about, but it's attached to a helmet on your head. We got some video of it here for you guys. So I posted that video on our blog. And then some of these other comments. One from a real racer. As a real racer, I love that idea. Be great for exercising the muscles in the neck, because that's one of the biggest things, especially in Formula One, actually in any serious racing.
And that is the real point. This is to train your neck. It's to train you for a particular track, too. So if you want to know what certain corners were going to do to you if you were preparing for that track.
Exactly. So anyway, we love some of the comments. And one of the biggest comments, or one of the most I've seen, is, and I saw it on his video, what about when you wreck? When you wreck in the sim, is your neck going to snap forward? I mean, I don't want that happening.
No, I don't want to simulate that in my neck.
I'm sure it's tunable, but one of his last comments, they spent a lot of time to exercise neck muscle. It seems the Frex head motion system is safe when tested without fastened seatbelt, because I am still alive.
That's
Sinjay.
Sinjay, yeah.
So anyway, go to Frex. What's their website? Oh, here it is, frex.com//GP, and you can check that out. Or check out our, we'll have a link to that topic, or that description.
And you gotta see the video of the guy running around without seatbelt, lightly done seatbelts in a Formula One car. It's pretty funny.
Yep. So next topic is our top story of the week, and pretty much what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the show. We just got back last night, from Charlotte, North Carolina, and we got to go to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. We mentioned it on last week's show, and got to go. Basically what this is every year NASCAR does like a banquet.
Yeah. Not the Waldorf banquet for the big guys.
No, this is for like the lower tier local racers. So there was a guy from Mexico, and there was a guy, Canada. There was a Canada champion. Yeah. So a lot of these local
European champion.
Yeah, a lot of these local champions. Tyler Hudson, the iRacing champion, was recognized at this, and that's.
Well, he's a world champion.
Yeah, he is a world champion. But so these guys were all being recognized at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I guess in the past they'd all gone GoKart Racing. I'm guessing at VLM.
Exactly where we ended up.
Where we ended up at the end of the story, and we'll tell you about that. But so it was, first of all, really cool. I'd like to thank Jeff Addison, who was just awesome. He works at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and actually I want to start with his story.
Okay.
He went to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, I think a couple years ago, with an iRacing meetup. Got a bunch of guys together, went to the NASCAR Hall of Fame with a bunch of iRacers, and they all ran the sims there. and
I think they did a tour of one of the shops.
yeah, they went to Dale Jr.'s shop or something like that. Anyway, long story short, he was just finishing up his degree in IT, or was in the IT field and was looking for work and hit up the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's running that whole simulator section that we have footage of here.
And it was one of those timing moment stories. I mean, it was like he hit them up right when they had the need for exactly that guy, and it was an IT guy who understood sim racing as well.
Yeah, and he's a sim racer. He's an iRacer, so and actually he's been sim racing for a long time. So it was a perfect marriage. And what a great guy! This guy took us. And again, thanks, Jeff, for taking us all. He gave us basically a private tour of the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And we got to see some really cool stuff and hear some stories about when the cars were going in and when certain guys, Rusty Wallace was just there last week, he was saying.
And some of the antics these guys would pull, because, this is a place where they have these things that we don't get to touch them. I mean, these are but, these big names of NASCAR come in and do what they want to do.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun learning about that and getting to meet him. And then, it was us being there was about Tyler not about Tyler, but just about him being recognized along with all these other NASCAR champions.
Yeah.
And that was just honestly, for me being a sim racer for so long and honestly knowing Tyler for so long, it was an honor.
Yeah.
To see him amongst these guys.
Yeah.
And see his big NASCAR ring that is just like the other champions' rings.
And then they had them all there at the Hall of Fame, and they had, the local people who were visiting the Hall of Fame come through, getting autographs from all the champions, and it's like, there's Tyler. Actually, he was at the end of the row, so in my opinion, that sort of made him the most important.
It looked like he was like the top champion. He was actually wearing like a kind of a different colored shirt than everybody else, so it was just really a neat experience, and again, congratulations to Tyler, and we're really proud of him. I've been racing on and off I haven't raced against him in a long time, to be honest, but actually, no, I think he ran in the Rock race. I think he might have ran in our Rock special event, so even though I was in the back of the pack, he was near the front, I did race against him recently, but Tyler has been in sim racing for 14 years. Since he was 12 years old, he's 26 now. As a matter of fact, I got a full interview with him. We're gonna air that separately. What a great guy.
Yeah.
And what a great couple. Him and his wife were there, Lisa.
They're
Hudson.
a great couple. And the thing about it for me is we're amongst some sim racers also, in addition to the champions who were there. And he's a really humble, really nice guy who was really grateful of what this has done. I mean, it was a big opportunity for him to do this, and you could tell that he was still taking it in.
Yep. So part of this whole thing was we all got to race in the NASCAR simulators all day. They basically closed it off to the public, so the public was not able to race in the full-bodied simulators. Now let's talk about these simulators.
Yeah, these are not just your everyday simulators at all. These are NASCAR rollers. I mean, so they had what, 10 of them? 8 of them?
No, there was 6 with 2 each. I guess originally there was 8, 2 were missing, but I guess they're changing it out to the newer bodies.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking real cup cars. I mean, they've got the roll bars, they've got, I mean, even the suspension parts, all of that. Open up the hood, you see all the work minus the motor, and they literally have a little brake on them so they can put them in position, lock them down, and like you mentioned, they split the car down the middle from the inside so that somebody enters from the passenger seat, somebody enters from the driving seat, so 2 people per simulator.
Yeah. And there's a divider, so you can't see the guy. You can hear what's going on next to you, which kind of got a little distracting. ECCI wheel and pedal set. Some butt kickers running in them.
Yes.
High-powered systems. Now this is all running iRacing software, and they're all tied together, so you can race against each other. And it's, as a matter of fact, let's talk about that software.
Yeah, this is like their event build, I think is the best way to call it.
Yeah.
And this is not the online.
No, not like an event build. This is more like a
commercial sim center build.
Yes, exactly. So sim centers. Tony Gardner was telling us that sim centers could be tied all across the country, racing at the same time. I mean, and it's similar to iRacing and honestly being in a hosted race, but there's a lot more controls and features that were really neat and specifically programmed for places like the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And he said that there was some other places that had them too, some other sim centers.
There are a few others out there.
So let's talk about the iRacing guys. Tony Gardner was there, Otto Zabini, and the infamous, and I can call him that, Shannon Whitmore, who I got to meet for the first time. Sean had already met. Oh, Steve Meyer was there also.
Yeah.
So it's great to see all those guys.
I wish we had some footage of us really communicating with Shannon, because he is, like you said, he's a little infamous.
I got a lot of footage of Shannon, I think. Shannon's we got some footage of him. Shannon, if you don't know, is basically like the race director for the World Championship Series on the NASCAR and the Formula One side. So he's like the race director. So he's watching every single race and handing out incidents and...
You're not gonna, well, I'll get to this. Shannon gave me an incident during this trip, like live in person. Wrote my name down, and I don't know, he said suspend Sean Cole.
Yeah, Sean might be getting an iRacing suspension. And this is for on track an incident on a real track, go-kart racing later. We'll talk about that in a minute. But so back to the simulator. So what they did was they got all these NASCAR champions to basically race against each other. Previously, they'd go to a local go-kart track and battle it out. But this year, NASCAR decided, this is all put on by NASCAR, decided to do it at the Hall of Fame. And then there's going to be a banquet this weekend that follows, and we may have some images or something from that. But if not, there's a banquet that celebrates all these guys. So anyway, this is like a fun day for these guys, and the NASCAR Hall of Fame is like an amusement park to an extent. I heard. Did you hear them over there doing the pit crew thing, screaming and yelling?
Oh yeah, everybody had a turn at that.
We did too.
We kind of
actually we got some.
I sucked. You did fine. I kind of kept screwing up the time.
You had the hardest part though.
Yeah.
Taking off those lugs was not easy. So anyway, I tried to do it fast. So the NASCAR Hall of Fame was just fun to check out in the first place. But so anyway, back to the racing. So these guys, it was like, I don't know, 10 different races, like heat races.
Yeah, I think the thing, they had each champion kind of pick their scenario.
Yes.
So, and then everybody else would join in, but it was like the European champion got to pick what he wanted to run, car and track combo, and then everybody else would sort of have to deal with his pick.
Yeah, and then each heat winner would get like an iRacing hat or something. So like I saw a lot of the guys walking around with hats on and stuff, and
a hat that we both eyeballed and wanted.
Yes. But the public could run with these guys. So a lot of sim racers showed up. Ricky Harden, Tommy, I forgot his last name, but a guy named Tommy was there. Byron Daly, who we hadn't met. Carson Downs. Who else? Tony Stevens.
Tony Stevens.
As you laugh. Jordan, I'm not sure Jordan's last name, but a lot of really cool guys that were semi-local. Brian Blackford was there too.
Yeah.
And we got to basically race against these guys basically from the end of the night through karting. But let's back up a little bit. So these guys all raced against each other. We covered it. We didn't race during those events. And at the end of the day, it ended up with Ricky Harden, the sim racer, taking the whole thing from the real racers and from Tyler Hudson.
Yeah.
So it was this whole tiered thing, and Ricky was just ecstatic.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude said he'd never won anything, and
he was very excited about it. And I think it was an honor for him not just to win, but to beat that crowd.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was. And that wasn't an easy feat. So after that took place, we did some sim racing. All of us, all the sim racers, and some guys from iRacing. Actually, one of the guys from NASCAR, Nick Rend, he got in the cockpit, and we all raced each other, just had some fun, bumping and banging. The Rock was first in the trucks.
Oh,
we were in trucks the whole time. No, the Cup car last race.
At Charlotte.
We were in the trucks at the Rock first race, and then we went to Homestead for the second race, and the third race was at Charlotte in the Cup cars. And we didn't keep track of anything. We just had fun.
I did terribly. I couldn't even. Ultimately I couldn't hear enough, and it was a little tough. I couldn't really get a good grip on everything.
Yeah, and I no excuses. I sucked too. And then when all was said and done with there, we all went out and had some dinner. We got to really get to know each other, everybody a little bit more.
I want to mention one more thing before we move on. Sorry about that. We did make one observation. I've seen so many comments on our show about driving in socks.
Yes.
And I just want to say, a few of the guys who walked out of there with the hats, the shoes were outside of the rig when they were racing.
Tyler Hudson.
Yeah.
NASCAR iRacing Champion. First thing he did before getting in that cockpit, took his shoes off.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was a good observation and good way to point that out.
Now moving on.
Yeah, so anyway, went out to dinner with all the guys and girls. Actually, we're going to do a story hopefully later on Lisa, and I'm not sure her last name, and Brian Blackford. They have teamed up and have a venture where it just seems really cool. They got simulators set up at like a technical learning center.
Yeah, it's sort of a science program for underprivileged children, allowing them to sort of use simulation to be inspired by mechanics, by physics, by mechanical engineering even, and without realizing that's what they're learning.
Yeah.
And they're doing it for underprivileged kids, and it's a great thing, and iRacing's helped them out a bit. They have a bunch of really cool sponsors. And
a lot of people have helped them out a bunch. So yeah, it's a really cool story, and hopefully we're going to do more on that later. But they were there, and it got to really talk to Tyler and his wife, Lisa. Asked her what she thought about the whole thing. First she said she thought it was kind of nerdy, but now she's out there racing. Actually, we're going to try to get a women's race together with my wife, Tyler's wife, and we've done this in the past with a lot of ladies.
We'll get as many ladies involved as we possibly can.
Yeah, so that could be a lot of fun. We'll hopefully do that in the future. So let's wrap this up with our little go-kart adventure. So at the end of the night, we were getting tired, honestly, from flying across country and
jet lag and just being on the road.
Yeah, and then they're just like, wait a second, you guys went 3 hours back, so you shouldn't be that tired. It's only 6 o'clock your time. Or
it was actually Otto's our best argument. Like, oh, these guys are 3 hours behind.
No, but then Otto turned it around and said, wait a second.
Yeah.
You guys are from the West Coast, but it was just, anyway, sleeping in a hotel. So they tried to talk us into going go-kart racing at VLM. Was that the name of the place?
Yeah, VLM.
And I guess a lot of the NASCAR, actually, on the wall there was, did we get a shot of that? I don't know if we did.
I don't think we did, but I think this is the place that they normally have done this banquet, because you look at the wall and everybody's been through there.
The real NASCAR guys go race there when they're in town.
Oh yeah, all of them. Autographs of every NASCAR guy you can imagine on the wall.
Yeah, and they race the gas karts indoor, and this is the first time I've gone to a place like this where you set up to race.
Yeah.
So there was like 13 of us. A lot of people we all talked about, and we all went out to go karting. That was a lot of fun. Suited up, helmets, the whole 9 yards. Sean ended up taking all the spots, Mr. 144 pounds over here. Didn't think that his weight advantage meant anything, but it really did. Everyone was calling him cheater at the end of the night. But
everyone, 12 dudes yelling at me, cheater, cheater, cheater.
And the bottom line was, the way it actually worked out, and me being on the opposite end of that scale, I'm like 205. Sitting one of those karts it's a lot of fun, and I got probably within a second of your guys' lap times. But trying to really hustle that kart around with my weight and I'm a little heavy for me right now. I'm usually around 190. But what a blast. There was almost 2 classes of racing going on. There was the light guys, the lightweight class, and the heavyweight class.
True. It's like the sub 165 and then the over 165, and it was like almost perfectly split on the podium for the most part.
Yeah,
or on the rankings.
So should we mention what happened to Tony Stevens?
We gotta mention this.
We got to, because
you might know Tony Stevens, because if you watch some of the iRacing races that go on, he's broadcasting. I've been in booth with him.
We got to get footage of it too. Hopefully we got this from Brian. But yeah, he had and I hate to bring up Gregor Hutu. So yeah, Gregor, if you're not familiar with the story, is the Formula One 3 out of 4 reigning champion on the iRacing World Championship.
I'm gonna call him the best sim racer on earth.
Pretty much, he is. He got a chance to run like a Star Mazda?
Yeah, Formula Mazda, yeah.
Yeah, at what was it, Road Atlanta? A couple years back, hot summer day.
Yeah, and he's a Finn.
He's a Finn, probably hasn't seen too many hot sunny days in his whole lifetime. And I'd say Gregor probably wasn't in the best physical shape, based on...
Certainly not on that day.
Yeah, and I think he was feeling a little under the weather.
Right.
Gregor, his breakfast came up, or whatever it was that day, during his session in that car. So, anyway...
So it happens to the best of them.
Mentioned Tony Stevens. It was a great sport about it, but he all of a sudden we finished the racing, and there's Tony standing there.
Yeah.
In his street clothes.
Yeah, we're all piling into the room, we're all sweating, taking off our suits, and yeah, he's already cooled down, looking calm.
And tells us, actually I think, let's roll this little piece.
Okay.
The audio's a little off, but you can hear Tony talking about the moment. It's something about a gag reflex. Here it is.
Sinus was released, and it was just like, triggered my gag reflex.
Chilling.
So I was like, I'm trying to cough. I coughed, something came up, and I was like, all right, I'm good.
So that being said, I got to tell you, Tony was fast. and proud to talk about it.
Yes.
And but again, I feel like he was in that lightweight class.
Yeah, sub 165.
Yeah, man, that was a blast.
That was one of the best times I've ever had. And I mean, this is something that's great about sim racing is that we all have a common bond. We're all gearheads. We're all racing fans, and get that kind of group in a karting track, which you could do. I mean, contact people in your community, Gran Turismo, iRacing. Reach out to the people in your group. There's a karting track in every city.
It doesn't even have to be a karting track. I mean, you guys can just get together with local sim racers. For us, has always been a lot of fun. Actually, this goes way back for me, way before even our show existed. I was doing it with guys that I raced NASCAR with. We'd go to a Dave & Buster's.
Yes.
Actually, there was a Silicon Motor Speedway place is what we used to go do. So try to do something local with some local sim racers and just see how much fun you have. It just, when you guys start talking sim racing, wheel and pedal sets, and what type of system do you race on, and it turns into a lot of fun.
Well, and learning what these guys' other hobbies are beyond sim racing.
Yep. So let's talk more about the race. And actually, let's get Brian Blackford's post-race comment first before we talk about it. Let's roll that really quick. And again, the audio is a little off. We didn't have mics rolling, but check this out.
I had the lead until the last turn. Sean dumped me. He dumped me.
No way! So, what happened, dude?
Guilty as charged, I'd say. And this gets back to why I've been written up by Shannon Whitmore, because he watched the incident, and I'm going to call it an incident.
Shannon, by the way, was supposed to race with us.
Yeah.
And he had a little accident at his home where slipped and fell and busted up his hip.
Yeah, he was limping.
And I was actually surprised when he signed up. I was like thinking, he was struggling walking back to the hotel.
And this is not easy karting.
Yeah. So Shannon dropped out, and Carson Downs actually got to take his place, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I mean, this race, I was on the pole, and I got away clean. Brian just was all over me.
He's fast, huh?
Yeah, he's fast. And all race long, he's bumping me going into every corner. And I'd, like, look over my corner, and I'd think I lost him. No, he was in my, like, right on my bumper,
spot,
waiting to hit me again. And this went on for 12 laps until on the final lap, we'd taken the white flag, and he hit me really good going around one of the 180s and put me into the wall. And I bounced off of it, luckily, and I was seeing red. And I chased him down knowing full well I'm going to win this race no matter what it takes.
So wait a second. Hold on. Now that you're telling me it was in one of those 180s, so wait, did he come inside you and push you wide?
Like right when I got to here, he hit my rear so that my nose went into the wall.
Okay, so you were already through the corner.
I was like halfway at the corner, and he hit me into the wall. And then
so halfway going into the corner?
Yeah.
Okay, so he punted you.
Yeah, he punted me.
Okay, all right. I thought maybe he was exiting the corner and he just kind of bumped you.
Oh, no.
Okay.
He changed my
I thought
trajectory.
maybe he got you inside going into the 180 and kind of pushed you wide.
No, it wasn't that close.
Okay.
But he did get by, and so yeah, I chased him down, and I figured, man, payback is a you-know-what.
Slater is
To his credit,
I can't breathe because there's more shit trying to come up. This is not going to work out well.
Can't complain too much.
I mean, they're going to...
I spun him.
Put in the pits. They put in the pits.
You know what? And you guys call me the Rager. This guy took out a dude in real life. The only person that got taken out the whole race, by the way.
Yeah.
So actually,
I hit Shannon into the wall earlier, so I'm kind of a nightmare.
This guy's a maniac on the track. And you guys, and again, everybody talks about me being the psycho.
But I did win, and my logic on this is when you get the trophy, you get the glamour, you get the track, and then you worry about what they say in the big red truck later.
I agree with that. We talked about...
Oh, I will say, though, I went up to Brian afterwards.
You just interrupted me.
I'm sorry. I'm very rude like that, especially when talking about my racing efforts.
I got crap for interrupting you in that last show.
We interrupt each other all the time.
So go ahead.
Anyway, Brian, I went up to him afterwards, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't really cool. I pretty much spun you on purpose. And he's like, yeah, well, I knew that was coming. So you know what? It was great racing, and I cannot wait to race against you again, Brian.
You know what? We're going to have to get a hosted race or something together with all those guys.
Yeah, that would be excellent. And
meet up with them again, and we got to meet up with them in something that we race in a little bit more. Not this only oval stuff. I
Yeah.
thought about that. Why did we race a road course in one of those last 3
I
races?
don't know. Well, we kept throwing it at like Bathurst was like everyone wanted, or Bathurst, or what was the other one? Brands Hatch. Everyone, but we ended up not running any of those.
So anyway, actually, let's talk about my battle a little bit, the heavyweight battle, which I think I kind of ended up near the front of. I think I kind of muscled my way through, and I don't want to say I was holding up the pack a little bit, but they could not make a pass on me.
Well, that's this kind of karting.
And so one guy made a pass, and I'm not sure who it was, and then he made a mistake. That was the only way to get by somebody is if they made a mistake. And if they were running a clean line, it was really, you couldn't muscle by.
Right.
And it was really hard to get a run just because of the power band of these carts, especially for me with that, I was carrying the extra weight. No excuses, but it was...
No, but these are little tiny motors, so I mean, really, and the bottom line is weight does matter a lot.
And we were racing on a slick surface on a lot of
Yeah.
the corners where the tires for me was doing a lot of sliding, and I have a lot of... Anyway.
I was in heaven. I was just in
Yeah, he was like snug as a bug. But anyway, I had a battle with Otto Zabini from iRacing, and I didn't know who it was for the last 6 laps at least. And same as you with Brian, he was so close to me that if I kind of peeked over my shoulder, I couldn't see him. We'd have to be in a corner and I'd really have to look, and then I would see him there. Last lap. And I'm thinking to myself, just hit your marks. I'm either gonna get a blue flag for being too slow, or they're gonna have to move me, or I'm gonna make a mistake.
Right.
I did not make a mistake. That whole time I was in that battle, I'm proud to say, Otto knew that he had to do something on that white flag lap. And we had a long straight on the backside. Going into it, he just gave me a little nudge, just a perfect bump. But I countered it perfectly. I hit the brakes, got down, hit my marks, and made the turn. But
And held the position.
held the position. I think I ended up like 5th overall. I think I was, again, and Carson Downs was right behind him. Carson started in front of me, so I got by him. I passed by 3 guys.
There are a few little groups out there that would get out there and be racing against each other, it seemed.
But that was so fun racing with those guys.
Well, you could see it from when we came back into the locker room, and you've seen the 2 clips there, but you could see everybody just ear-to-ear grins, having a great time, and that's what it was all about. Actually, kind of brings me to the next point. At the end, we crowned Tyler the champion that day, so I'm pretty sure I crossed the line first. But we did put him up on top of the podium. We have his autograph here. This is going to be his rookie card, and we've got it. So when he's a big champion, that's going to be worth big bucks.
Yep.
And just a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I'd like to thank guys from iRacing for putting that all together and inviting us out. And it was great to meet all the local sim racers and some of the real local champions. It was fun to see those guys running against each other, and it's kind of fun seeing them struggle in iRacing.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun seeing an iRacer beat all of them.
Yes, that was awesome.
Well, honestly, not a surprise.
No.
It would be like one of us going into their local tracks.
Sure.
They would kick the crap out of us.
Sure.
So I think that's going to wrap it up.
Yeah, one other thing, I did pull the cellophane off, so you missed my Christmas morning moment that I've raved about, but
Actually,
I did.
we got footage of it.
Okay, I did. I was very excited. I got to pull this off, got my copy of Gran Turismo 6, and the only reason I'm really bringing this up is because you can see I was excited about it, and we are going to have more Gran Turismo 6 coverage coming up. Like, we're going to do a review sort of thing, go over the graphics, sounds, all that kind of stuff, do some more videos. We're waiting on the first patches, and yeah, some more of that coming up soon as well.
And more Forza 5 coverage as well. We actually filmed a Forza 5 piece, and we just got to finish editing it. That'll be out soon. Interview with Tyler Hudson's coming. R Factor 2 just released or updated 2 cars. We're going to hopefully do a test drive on those 2. Lots more before the end of the year, and we're going to take a little break with the holidays coming. But that's going to wrap up this week Inside Sim Racing. For Sean Cole, I'm Darin Ganji. We'll see you guys next time.